The August 22nd board meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mr. Sturgill.
Yes.
Ms. Nazario.
Yes.
Mr. Ballard.
Yes.
Ms. Washington.
Here.
Mr. Ferguson.
Yes.
Pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Recognition of visitors.
We have none tonight.
Nothing. First hearing of the public. Okay, first hearing of the public.
Oh, there comes Marge. Hello.
Hi, I'm Marge Walker, 2955 Lexington, Lorain. I haven't been here for a while. But anyways, I read in the paper, whatever it was after the last meeting, about the sex being taught in the schools in the 3rd grade. And the state of Ohio said not to make and they made this law. And I am under the opinion, and you can correct me and let me know what the story is, that you that you're going to be teaching these sex programs in the as young as the 3rd grade. Can you give me an answer on that? I have a hard time understanding. I had 2 people read that article to make sure I understood it correctly. Did I understand it
Can I
correct?
respond briefly?
You want to respond?
Yeah. And we could talk more after this if you like, but the short answer to your question is people did make comments at the last board meeting, but we are not teaching sex in 3rd grade. I mean, we can walk you through, actually, our curriculum is all online. We are required to teach about venereal diseases, but I'm pretty sure, I'm looking at Ross, that's middle school. Yeah, but there are,
Because I thought I was under the opinion it was as young as the 3rd grade.
there's the only, take about 2 steps back. All curriculum for all courses is written and driven, the standards are all created by ODE, the Ohio Department of Education, except health. Everything that is and can and has to be taught in health is established by our legislator,
By what?
by our legislators.
Okay.
That article was so deceptive.
Yeah, the journals.
Okay. Anyone else? Need a motion for approval of the minutes?
So moved.
Second?
Roll call.
Mr. Ballard.
Yes.
Ms. Nazario.
Yes.
Mr. Sturgill.
Yes.
Ms. Washington.
Yes?
Mr. Ferguson.
Yes.
Old business?
Do we have any updates on the stadium or the baseball or softball fields?
See about the audience. Stephen, no? Last I heard, we're still waiting for architectural renderings for the stadium because we originally had a plan, and then we came back with 2 alternate plans, which take a little bit more time putting together. And last I heard, we should be getting those back soon. So within weeks. Stephen, does that sound right to you?
About 2 to 3 weeks, we'll get those back from the company, yes.
And we have RFPs going out for the baseball field, and I'm not sure what's coming yet. This will be the 3rd time. The first time we set out our request for proposals, we had no response. The second time we put it out, we had 1 response that was where the costs were so high, we were not allowed to accept it based on what our anticipated costs were, so we're putting it out again.
And do we have any update on our buses, the medical buses and the food buses?
The medical buses, I'm not sure about the food buses. I'm looking at Stephen again because AJ strategically sat behind the podium. But we actually had the medical clinic here on last Thursday. So we got to see where it is. And it's not quite done yet, but I think the parts start to go in pretty quick. The issues are still supply chain issues. I know the generator is something that's still on hold, and there are a few other things, but you can see the outline, the structure, and it's all coming together pretty impressively. You can see where there's 2 different clinics. There are 2 different rooms. The separate room, or the dividing room, where the receptionists will be, and restrooms and storage, and it's exciting times.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Report and recommendation of the treasurer.
I have items 8.01 and 8.02 for approval.
Motion to accept.
Support. Roll call?
Mr. Ferguson.
Yes.
Mr. Ballard.
Yes.
Mr. Sturgill.
Yes.
Ms. Nazario.
Yes.
Ms. Washington.
Yes.
Report and recommendation of the superintendent operations.
Thank you, Mr. President. And actually, before I get started, I'd like for a couple of folks to come up and give us some updates. And Barb Medrick, our Director of Transportation, if she can come up to the podium and give us an update on where we are. Obviously, transportation was something, we were at First Student for a number of years. We transitioned to Auxilio, and of course, had a lot of questions and issues pop up. Anybody who watches national television or reads the newspaper, there's a national shortage of bus drivers that I think we're working through pretty well. There were a number of things that went very, very well at the beginning of the school year. But candidly, there's some things that did not. And I think if Barb could maybe shed some light on the things that are going well, the things that aren't, and what we're doing to react to the things that aren't. Please.
Yes, thank you.
And you could do the microphone up a little bit? Yeah, the acoustics aren't very good. Thank you.
The beginning was challenging. We worked through it. I have been through 21 opening days, and it was really good. I was surprised. We're having issues with the high school buses. I'm sure everyone's heard. We're having a little struggle with the way things were done last year and the way that were done this year. With the bus passes no longer being here and us transporting K through 12, students are still going to the bus passes. We're working through it. It's been a great response. The parents are real happy with the way we're doing it this year. I think it's moving along. We have some hurdles, but we're getting through it. The pre-K.
If I could jump in real quick on the high school piece. Again, the high school, the process that was followed last year, I just want to emphasize a point, is very, very different than this year. So what happened is students, instead of getting on the buses they were assigned, everybody just flooded buses. And some of the students didn't have transportation provided to them. Some kids went to the wrong bus. So again, we've got some things we worked out with Auxilio. We met today. They're going to do a much better job of taking attendance and working on a software piece that communicates better with ours. So when we share information, it's instantaneous to them and they can react more efficiently. But again, the attendance piece that needs to be taken before our kids get on the bus, I think resolve many of those issues. I'm sorry, Barb.
That's okay. The pre-K started today. There was a little bit of a glitch. There was some misinformation. Again, I will have that rectified this evening when I get home, so the pre-K will be back on schedule tomorrow. And all the pre-K, Beth and everyone is aware of what happened, and I will get that rectified this evening. The day-to-day issues, collaborative with Auxilio, we're working really, really well. We're trying to get, again, the software issues worked out. When I add a student, it doesn't get to them instantaneously, so we're doing emails and printing out routes, but it's getting there. It's getting there. I think we're going the right direction with the new software.
And if I could ask you a question to emphasize a point, and what a lot of people don't understand is, in our school being very transient, what our numbers look like. And I want to say 3 weeks before school started, we had 500 students enroll. And again, we have students who leave as well, but every time either one of those happens, it affects the bus routes. But if you get an idea of how many over the course of the past, would you say since Tuesday, we've had students enroll?
Last I talked to registration, from last week until this week, it has been almost 850 between changing, enrolling, leaving. It's almost 850.
So for us, what we do is if your child gets transportation, gets busing because you live beyond 2 miles, if it's not an added stop, if it's at an existing stop, we'll pick your child up that next day because your name will be on that roster, and again, we'll take attendance. If we have to add a stop because of where you live, then it's 3 days, which has always been our policy and our practice. But again, I think we're doing a pretty good job of keeping up. But as you can imagine, there's a lot of change of routes consistently. Every day there are several kids who change. And those who look at our numbers and have been here for a while understand that historically those numbers are going to be like this until Labor Day. Then we'll level off a little bit. But until then, it's going to be a lot. And we're doing, I think, a pretty good job. Barb has been fantastic getting things routed. And although she works till 10 or 11 o'clock at night, every night, the work part's appreciated, but take care of yourself a little bit. But this is a very, very crazy time of the year for every school district, but even more so for a district like us,
Right.
because of the level of transiency.
Thank you. And like I said, I think, like Dr. Graham said, after Labor Day, it's pretty much going to even out. We're going to be okay. We are sticking to the 3-day policy if I have to add a stop just for the safety of the students, because the driver has to change the route. By the time they change the route, it's dark in the morning when they're leaving, to be going to new stops without a couple days of driving it. It is very dangerous for the students, and we don't want that. We did explain today to the auxilio, I have changes, so if I tell you today, you can start riding on Thursday, the person that comes in tomorrow, I tell them I can start riding on Friday, so it's a daily change. And it's real hard to keep up with, and I appreciate auxilio meeting with us and trying to get things worked out, but it's a daily change, and we just need to keep our students safe.
And Barb, if you could also provide an update for the buses for our students who are orthopedically challenged.
We had a few problems. They provided us with one ortho bus, and unfortunately, at this point currently, we have 4 students that are in chairs, so they weren't getting to them. They did assure us today that they were either going to contract someone. They do have 2 more ortho buses coming in. He's hoping tomorrow it'll get here. I'm not 100% sure, but he's going to contract out to assure me that my wheelchair students will be picked up tomorrow.
And again, we recognize it's completely unacceptable for these students, but we've had at least a couple students who have not been in school yet as a result of this. Again, we met today, and they assured us that if they don't have buses, they will privately transport those students until the buses come in. But again, completely unacceptable. And they recognize that as well.
So does anyone have any questions for me?
I have one. So for a better understanding of attendance on buses, do the kids swipe on, or you guys give them a sheet of paper just for the good of the order so the community will know what you're talking about? How do we do it to keep all the kids from trying to jump on the very first bus? How do we go about that?
Our software provides an attendance roster. It has your name on it, the student's name on it, and then it has check boxes. And then, like, say Monday, they would check that they were there. Tuesday, if they weren't there, it's just a week check box. Unfortunately, it's very time consuming, but as the students are walking up the bus, I would look at you and say, could you give me your name? And they would say, my name is Barb. You get to know your students one-on-one, so probably by September, you know every student's name.
So there's actually a monitor there with an attendance sheet, kind of roll calling them as they're walking on.
Correct, and if there's not a monitor, the driver does it,
Okay.
yes.
And we've discussed, because it's a scholarship approach, the student comes in and taps their ID so we know they're there.
Yeah.
So we're looking into that, but until then, we're doing the old clipboard and a pencil to make sure that we know exactly who's there. And it's not just to make sure that, it's for 2 reasons. Make sure kids who aren't supposed to be on that bus don't get on that bus, and the students who are supposed to be there are there.
And my second question, at our last meeting, there was a resident that showed up that had a list of concerns that we had. And one of the big concerns that she had was, would we have enough buses ready by the time school started? Are we assured that, other than the bus for the chairs that you just discussed, do we have enough buses for our students to get to school?
To my knowledge, all the routes are being covered.
There you go. I knew that answer, but I just wanted to make sure we satisfied the request that was made to us on last meeting.
Yes,
I believe we currently have 31 routes.
Correct.
Probably looking to add a few more as time goes by, again, as more students come in, and we try to increase for efficiencies. And as I understand it, they have 39 buses that have passed inspection.
correct.
That passed inspection by the
They are
Highway
able to be
Patrol.
driven.
So
That's
we
right.
are good. Thank you.
Correct.
That was my question.
And the other example, I initially started off with 4 high school routes. I am currently up to 8.
Very good.
So I do want all the children I can to get on the buses. They are doing the space availables. Once we get the children all figured out and make sure the number on my buses are correct, I will start adding the space available students, as many students as
And can you
I
walk through what space available is, please, Barb?
Space available is a form that I'm asking the parents to fill out if you are under the 2-mile mark. If you're under 2 miles and you're in your home school, you can fill out a space available form, and I start looking at those in September. I want to get everyone I can on school buses. They need to be getting to school. So I'll start calling parents then and letting them know that they'll be on which bus and what their stop is going to be.
So in essence, if the bus is to seat 71 and there's 43 students on there, we can add students who don't live beyond the 2 miles to make sure they have access to school through a bus.
Correct.
That's awesome. And thank you. You mentioned the maximum number of students on a bus. So can you say that one more time, and how many students are able to sit in a seat? I know that has been a
And there are,
a point of
also part
contention.
of that depends on the bus, but what I'll do is I'll let Barb answer that because she knows more than I do.
Most of our buses are 71 passenger buses. 71 passenger is 3 to a seat. So realistically, I can't fit 71 high schoolers. So we do accommodate, my high school buses were taken down to accommodate the high school students, but we can fit 71 elementary students and junior high students on a bus.
Thank you.
You will.
And the other big complaint that we've received up to this point is access to people when there's frustration or things aren't going well. And as I understand it, again, from our meeting with Auxilio today, they've added many more people to their front office to handle calls. So they've promised that they will be much more responsive than we've been.
And I did too. I added another phone in the transportation department because everyone was complaining my phones weren't getting answered. There was only 2 of us, so now I have someone else helping. So we added another phone, so I'm trying to get mine answered also.
So if your question deals with routing in terms of where the bus stop is and where your child is, that goes to Barb, and all other questions and concerns go to Auxilio, correct? And both
Correct.
numbers are on our website.
Correct.
Questions? Thanks, Barb, I appreciate it.
Thank
Yep.
you. Thank you for all you're doing.
And I know you put a lot of hours in. If you want to make a run for it, no one's going to be offended. Yeah, thank you. Okay, next, Dr. Sturgill is AJ. A couple questions that we've had in previous board meetings. One is an update on wraparound services. Exactly what are we doing? What's been provided? And I think they've done an outstanding job of creating opportunities and supports for our children and their families. And we try to communicate that out, but I think it's time for us to give an update to everybody on exactly where we are and where we've been and candidly where we're heading. So, is AJ, be so kind?
Good evening, everyone.
Hello.
First, I want to thank everyone for coming out to our back-to-school event that we had on August 10th. It was a wonderful event, very well attended. So I want to thank everyone here at the board, Dr. Graham, and the community for coming out. We started a year ago with the vision that was given to us for the wraparound services group. And so we took off running and started the year learning about the resources that were currently in place. We knew we had limited resources in our elementary and had to realign to meet the needs of our students. So this is when we knew we had to provide a LCS system of care. We had the MTSS, the multi-tiered systems, where we knew we had to marry not only what is multi-agency support as far as mental health, but also behavioral health, but also Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3 systems, meaning that all of our students need support, some of our students may need support, but then there are some supports that there are some students that need more supports than others. We knew that 4 social workers were at the high school, and there were no elementary counselors, and we had 3 middle school counselors. The 4 social workers were realigned to meet the needs for the elementary students, and they went district-wide. And then 5 counselors for the elementary started. And then they shared 2 buildings in the elementary schools. We worked with our collaborative partner at the Mars Board to have an efficient 2 and 3 tiered supports. We brought in other counseling groups after talking to our collaborative partner from the Mars Board because we found out that some of our social emotional support needs were not being taken care of. So we brought in ACE Wellness from Cuyahoga County, Family Solutions, because we found that some of our Spanish-speaking families were not being taken care of, and Gabriel Counseling Groups, because some of our students needed group counseling sessions to meet the needs of our increased supports. We also started looking at the needs of getting the resources to the community. So we started with the mobile buses, with the vision. 1 for dental, 1 for vision, 1 for general medical, and 2 for food distribution. And so we started to build up our community resources. And Aaron, am I talking too fast? And while he's working on that. So we built up our community resources. Oh, he's trying to get up the slides. That's okay. So we built up our community resources. So if anybody is in need of community resources, they can go to our Lorain City's website and they can go and find us under wraparound services, and they can fill out the Google form and fill it out and say exactly what they need. if they are in need of a school counselor, if they are in need of a social worker, if they are in need of food, if they're in need of clothing, if they are in need of help with housing. If you are a veteran and you're not quite sure where to go, we have connection with Veterans Affairs. This year, we have now onboarded, we have 7 high school counselors, we have 3 middle school counselors, and we have 5 new elementary counselors. So that now we have 10 elementary counselors. We're also happy that we have just had our last social worker that's going to be coming on board, and so we're going to have 4 social workers. That last elementary social worker is going to be looking at adverse childhood experiences, looking at ages 5 to 9, thanks to the partnership with Lorain County Health Department. All 4 of our social workers are going to be trained in Preventure, which is going to be the evidence-based prevention program to help promote mental health and delay youth substance. We're happy that all of our elementary schools, our middle school, and our high school are equipped to have health professionals, those are nurses, in our buildings. We've done a lot of work this year. On September 10th, we're going to have our first ever Titan Family Summit, to where families are going to be able to come together and community partners are able to come together, and families are going to be able to have community breakout sessions to learn what type of community services are out there, while our students are able to have fun and have STEM activities in the gym. We're asking for the community to come out, and our keynote speaker is going to be none other than Kurt Russell. So we're asking for the community to come out, support us. We're asking you to come, board members. Dr. Graham, as usual, is going to be there. And so we've done a lot of work, all within 1 year. And we still have a lot to do. Social emotional is at the forefront of everything we do, along with equity. As you can see, Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3 services have been broken down within our district. And we have those as a priority of our students. Are there any questions? That's the first time
How
someone
about that? Nice. You were thorough.
I don't have a question, but I do have a comment.
Yes, sir.
I think you guys are doing an amazing job, and I just want our community to understand that we are concerned about the whole family and the whole student, and that's why we're spending all of the extra effort to make sure we're being a holistic type district. So thank you all for all your hard work.
Thank you.
You bet.
I think they needed a buzz.
I think you're right.
Mark said what I was going to say, so thanks.
Sorry, I'll wait and give you the wait
Yeah,
next
whatever.
time. I apologize.
Like AJ said, we've been working hard to bring in more of our community organizations, and we did have it on there. We're now almost over 25 to 30 partnerships that support our children in our schools, and we're adding more even today in the agenda. So we're working hard looking at those partners that will help our children every day.
If I could just real quick, and I was with somebody the other day, and they described the fact that we have partnerships, and they were for other school districts, but our partnerships are not like what other school districts have in terms of partnerships, because ours are truly robust. And there is a lot more, and I've been in several districts, and the level of commitment of our partners, and obviously Stephen and AJ and others, it's impressive to watch. So again, I want to thank you for your leadership. It's we're going there in a hurry, so thank you.
And we meet with our partners and evaluate their effectiveness, which is critical. So they're just not a partner. They have to meet with our students. They have to provide service to our students. And if they're not, I'm telling you right now, either myself or AJ are knocking on the door saying why or why not. Okay, so we're doing everything we can. So I get to talk about something that is really fun. Talk a little about some of the work that was done about facilities and furniture that started in April. And I got to thank Ross Ross started this as the lead way back in April. I think it was April 6th when he started the actual committee, and from there we just took off. And I put a timeline together of all the times that we have met to talk about facilities and furniture to get ready. One, to get ready for the school year. We had a lot of movement within the district, and we had to prepare for it. Again, thanks to Ross, because he made sure that every new staff member and every staff member that moved had the furniture in place and the space for start of the new school year. So with that, if you've seen the blue are just some more important events. And again, I think, Ross, we saw every space in Lorain City Schools.
Yeah, literally.
And I don't know if you want to talk about that, but we want to say anything, please?
Sure, yeah, we needed to know what we had. So we had a couple of teams, and 3 teams actually, and we went through every single room, nook and cranny, in every single building that we had to take a kind of quick inventory of what we have and how we're using the space, so that then we come back as a team to say, all right, what types of adjustments do we need to make for flexibility and accessibility for furniture, for our arts expansion, for wraparound services, for all the adjustments that we're making. We had to be able to put in places, and instead of just trying to do a kind of like a piecemeal approach, we thought, well, let's take a look at everything that we got and figure out what types of adjustments we need to make from there.
Exactly. And so it was nice because Ross led the team of actually the movement of staff within the district, and I actually looked at how can we be more appealing with new furniture within the district. So we had kind of two different teams going on during that time, which we had a lot of fun of getting ready for the school year. So again, just important dates. We started on April 28th doing school walkthroughs, and then you can see there around May we started meeting with different representatives from the school, our teams, to look at some more appealing furniture that met our instruction. We know we have post-COVID a different type of learning that needs to happen with our students. So we started looking at, with our new scope and sequence, our new curriculum coming in, new material, new resources, just a new way of teaching post-pandemic. And so we started looking at, and we met with Mike Lynch from Mentor. Mike is the operations director for Mentor City Schools, and he kind of talked about their process, how they added furniture for all of their schools and Mentor, and really help us define a process moving forward. And then here we are, August, didn't spell that right, huh?
It's there.
Which is funny, it's right on my sheet, so I don't know how that messed up, I apologize. I blame Aaron, where you at, Aaron? I covered the T there. Yeah, Joe, what'd you do? So as you can see, yeah, see, ours is right. There's the T right there. So in July and August, again, you can see a lot of work about getting ready for the school year, making sure that all our new staff members had everything they needed for the start of the school year. At the same time, we were still working with teachers on the possibility of what a new design for instruction in the classroom with furniture would look like. Being a little bit more mobile in the classroom was something we were looking at. So you see in December, eventually, if everything goes through, we'll complete an RFP for the furniture for the new buildings. And in January and May, we'll start our timeline for implementation with vendors. And then we'll look for redesign through the summer and getting ready for the 2023-2024 school year. So you're probably saying, wow, what does it really look like? Or what are we really looking at? I got some nice pictures here, so. So why are we doing this? Well, 1, increase safety and security. 2, improve family and community service, maximize our space, make it more appealing. And then lastly, space and furniture that allows multiple means of engagement is really important to us. So we had to have an evaluation or a rubric. And so our team got together and developed a rubric for our teachers, and they look at the furniture. This is the rubric that they'll go and use. So we started to look at, first of all, more appealing customer service. When you walk into our main office, especially in elementary, we're looking at how can we make it more appealing to our families. So we started looking at two different designs there. And you can see that, and I'm going to try here, the first one here is more of what we have right now. Then we look at the second one where you can see here where it opens up more of the office space. Here it moves the main, moves our secretaries over here, opens all this area for final forms and sitting area. And then back here, we got rid of some cabinets, and I'm going to show you here in a minute to open up for some more, again, learning spaces within our building. So this is currently Frank Jacinto, and really excited about the work. I got to thank Kevin and the operations team. They were, and of course Mary, because she's at the top, but when it came to the work, Kevin and his team were absolutely amazing. I mean, they jumped into this and just went full steam and did some great work for us. As you can see here, I took a couple pictures, as you can see here. You can see the new design right here. As you walk in, you can see a space for the little kiddos. Before, as you can see right here, this is Washington, there is no space for the little kids where we can see them. So now we have space for the little kids. Our secretaries can see them when they walk in. We really like that. Also, as you can see right here, I mean, there is the more how open it is. And this is, again, Washington. We can see where we got rid of the space.
That's why the windows do.
Yeah. What we really like about it is we increase safety and security. If you look at the high school or the middle schools, you pretty much can't get out of the office unless you have, they buzz you in, or you have an ID badge. We did the same thing at Frank Jacinto. There is no way you can leave that office unless you have a badge or you're buzzed in. Pretty important when it comes to safety and security. We added more coverage space for our cameras and increase our safety and security. Here is just, again, more proposed media center and spaces, which we're really excited about. As you can see here, this is the old computer lab. All right, and I'm going to show you, it's really nice. It's going to be an Esl Room at Frank Jacinto, but we want to show you the possibilities. This is not to scale or the furniture is not there yet, but we just want to show you guys the possibilities. And this is the library. This is what we like about the media center. More open space, more soft seating here, but we can move, these are all on casters, so we can move all this furniture here. And then we have books all on the outside there. Again, more open space, better for learning environment. Let's take a look at it. So this is the old view. As you can see, I know you can't see, it's a little dark there, but you can see how old. What is that? The counter space are. Flooring is a little older. So we put in new flooring in the media center, right there. And then eventually, again, you can see the openness. We're going to add a 65-inch interactive multimedia player in there, TV, so there could be more activity in there. We're also doing the same thing for the cafe. It's going to actually have an 86-inch interactive TV in there, so we do different things in the cafeteria also. You can see how it's brighter, it's painted better, and they're floor tiles. So if something happens to the flooring, we just take the tile out, replace it. This is the Esl Room again. Really excited about the work that was done there. As you can see, this is an older view, and you can see right here where the old electrical outlets were. So we had a company come in and actually take those out, put cement in, and then we covered up with flooring.
Hey, can you speak to the furniture and
Yeah.
moving forward?
Yep. So what we're looking at, I'm going to go back to, I'm sorry this is not bigger, but we're looking at, again, more engaging furniture. So if you look at here, furniture is on casters. This is a middle school classroom where you see where kids are able to move around more. That's what we want. We want soft seating where students feel comfortable, where they could just go and sit and learn. And then again, you can see different types of seating that are there.
Yeah, right now, whether you're walking to the cafeteria at the high school, which is the one that really draws my attention, the media centers, we've had many conversations in these board meetings about media center furniture, and does the way a media center used to be the way a media center should be. And again, our goal is, and Stevens used the word appealing and more user-friendly, it needs to be more functional. When you walk into our high school cafeteria, it's institutional. It needs to be warm and welcoming and inviting. And there needs to be more functionality with our classroom furniture and our cafeteria furniture and our media center furniture. We talk about universal design of learning, which dictates that we have to try different approaches to learning. So desks in a row don't always work. So you have to have more flexibility with the furniture being moved around in different ways and used in different ways. So again, there is a direct impact between how a student feels. You know, we start to change the culture and climate from something that is institutional to something that is warm, but also provides for more opportunities for learning. So we are right now piloting to see what this looks like, what the effect it has, before we make a determination on how to move forward. But Stephen's been awesome in leading this charge.
Again, just take it one. This is what it looked like before. We had cabinets in the back of those offices. Look at it now. It's open space, and we could put nice learning furniture here. That can happen in the office. We are using those cabinets, and they are being used in the building, which is great. And then this is what Dr. Graham was talking about. Really excited. This is, again, a drawing. But if you look at the soft seating that's there, right now we have just tables and rows. Hard plastic chairs. So this, if you look here, this design allows, and I put it right here in the middle so you can see the middle here, but you can see here where nice soft seating, tables here, they sit around. We have soft seating around the edges here. Again, just more comfortable seating. It looks nice. It's engaging. We're looking at power stations where people can charge their computers or laptops for learning.
And can you talk about where all that extra space comes from? Because right now we use the soft seating, we're kind of spread out, big comfortable chairs, as opposed to all these hard chairs lined up one next to the other, shoulder to shoulder.
Where they come from?
Yeah, how many students is our cafeteria currently designed to seat?
Oh, it's currently designed like 855.
And what's our largest lunch?
Yeah, it's like 300.
So what we want to do is spread that out and give kids some space to sit comfortably and enjoy lunch in a way that is not, again, institutional.
Yeah, we started looking at designs and looking at numbers. We went and looked at our school numbers, and it's designed for over 800 kids at a lunchtime, but we don't even get close to that. I don't even think we get close to 400 per lunch period. But really, this again is really exciting about where we're going with this. We want to give you, the board, a view of some of the work that, again, our team led by Ross started. It was a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, looking at getting ready for the school year, but then the future of what we can do for our kids with new style furniture to make it more appealing, more engaging, and really ramp up the learning environment.
And again, all this started with our strategic plan. We had 60, 80 people, those little squares on our computers going through the process, and people are talking about so many hours of meeting and so many hours of meeting, and we're not doing anything. We had to understand what we wanted to do before we could do it the right way. And this is an offshoot of exactly that. We recognize that the way our buildings are designed in terms of culture are unhealthy, and in terms of teaching and learning are unhealthy. So we're looking at doing this a different way. And Stephen, where's this money coming from?
Where do we want it to come from?
I think it's already approved. ESSER funds, yeah. I think.
I gotta make sure.
This is I got the email a couple of days ago. I think we're good.
Put the bag away, Tia. Put the bag away.
Yeah, but this is all, again, these are COVID dollars that are designed for, to make sure that our kids are not
Yes.
losing learning.
Do we have a timeline for some of these changes?
The question is, do we have a timeline for
Yes.
some of the changes? And there are a
Yes.
couple pieces there while Stephen's gathering his notes. One is restructuring the media centers and the computer labs in our offices, and the others are when do we refurnish all of our classrooms.
Yeah. Again, our goal is by next summer that we're hot and heavy into redesign of the main offices and also bring in new furniture. So the goal is by January to have the plan ready to go with operations, all the RFPs out, and all of our vendors ready to go in January for June. We want to make sure that we're the only business they need to attend to come June.
Great.
That's the goal.
And we'll have about a half dozen spaces at Frank Jacinto that will have this new furniture in it, so we can experiment and find out what
Sure.
does work, get some teacher feedback, staff feedback, and then we can react accordingly. So our goal is to have everything asked for by the end of this calendar year, the beginning of the next.
And again, just one more plug on the work that AJ and I are doing. We feel we have the strongest and best social emotional learning environment in the state of Ohio. We have, what you're proving tonight, our wellness coaches to help serve our at-risk students. We have nurses in every building. We have counselors in every building. We have amazing Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3 supports in every building. We provide food, we provide health care, we provide dental, eye care. There's nothing right now that we don't give our students to make sure that they're healthy and ready to be educated in school.
And again, Stephen, I appreciate you emphasizing that point. And a lot of folks don't understand what wellness coaches are. When we went through this process, and Stephen and AJ led this, along with FIG with this piece, but it was to assure there were zero gaps between our children and getting their needs met. And the wellness coaches reach out, they visit our families to get to know exactly what's going on in the home. They know our children, and they connect our families and their children with the specific resources that they need. So again, we want to make sure that we've got it all covered. And again, we've got amazing people in all those roles, so it's...
Really excited about this school year and about where we're heading around that area.
I do have two things. One, there's a national conversation going on about libraries and books and what's in and what should not be in and all that good stuff. But the local conversation that I get out on the street is, well, you guys got libraries, you don't even have books in them. So can you help us understand how moving into the new standards of learning and how we're trying to be different, what's happening with our media centers that may not be rows and rows of books, but computers and other interactive things that we're using.
And I'll tell you one of the things that kick-started this conversation, and Steve and AJ and Michael and I were at a county presentation for, it was the banana thing, right? But it was about culture.
Okay.
But we met at a local high school's library, and everything was movable, comfortable seating. They had a coffee station set up for the kids, coffee, hot chocolate, pop.
I love it.
But it was all in
I'm
area.
in.
And we started talking to them and said, okay, well, what happened here? What'd you do? Because it was beautiful. And he said, we did an audit of the books in our library, and we had 11,000 books, and we knew there's 8,000 were never checked out.
Wow.
So again, we need to find out, again, there's a little bit more research that we want to do on this, but we are not ahead of the curve on this one. So there is, one of the benefits of being where we are is there's a lot of research on how to do this the right way, and we will. And there needs to be an electronic component as well as a handheld component, but again, it's an engaging, welcoming, comfortable space for children to gather and learn.
And we started that work. So we did an audit of our books at the elementary level to start, and it's called Weeding the Garden. So right now we're going through and we're getting rid of all the books, like Dr. Ram just referenced, that haven't been checked out or are really old or damaged. And so we're done with 5 schools right now, and we've got 5 more to go. But the starting point is just to know what we have and get rid of a lot of the stuff that is just old and that needs to be retired. So we started that here the last couple of weeks to get that going.
And the second, as you were talking about safety and not being able to get in and get out, which is the main thing, keeping our kids safe here. But a lot of questions that we get is how can the community better engage with what's going on in the school? So we have FAMU and all the things we do with family engagement, but sometimes we're buttoned up pretty safe because we got to keep our kids very safe. So how do we get that balance, and how do we get community engagement at a further level, or is that possible now?
Absolutely possible, and it's part of the goal of the Titan Fam is to increase that engagement in every school building. And so our goal is to have what we call Titan ambassadors. Try to stigma the parents' feelings about being with a PTO and have to have a treasurer and have all these meetings. We're saying to parents, listen, we want you in our buildings. We want you, whether it be 15, 20 minutes or 5 minutes, we want you there. Come see the kids, come join us, and that's what we're doing. So parents, you're absolutely able to come out and be a part of the school day or after school. The one thing that we do need, though, is if they do come, they just have to get fingerprinted at our site here in Human Resources. But we want parents involved.
Very good.
And so when we have our Titan Fam meetings, they're actually going to be in person and on Zoom. So if parents can't make it, they can attend through Zoom. And the great thing about Titan Fam is our meetings at night are designed for parents. The topics.
Dr. Sturgill, can I interrupt real quick?
Yeah.
Family members.
Family members. Yeah, family members. Right. Thank you, see?
You're welcome.
I try.
I
Once in
know,
the whole,
I
like,
know.
6
Me
months.
too, me too. Yes.
And good, non-family members, community members are able to attend. And that's kind of our goal. But the great thing about the topics, they're chosen by our family members. So for instance, our first meeting, they're going to hear from Rachel about title, but also from Ross and Mike about some of the great things going on in our district. The second meeting, the parents said, well, you know what, it's October, and we want to know about scholarships, because most scholarships start in October. So we're going to bring in everything around scholarships, so our families can see what's out there for scholarships. And from there, our families get to choose what they want here the next month. So it's a great opportunity to be involved, and families get to choose their topics of interest.
So that's my place to put this plug in to our community. When you go to surrounding communities, you see auntie, grandma, grandpa, and I mean, you can't get close to the place. We need you here, Pan Family, because we need to make it a family kind of a district. And we're doing a great job at that, but we encourage more of you to come out, please.
Yeah, definitely more the merrier. Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Stephen. I'm sorry.
I would like to say about the furniture piece. Some people will probably ask, why are we doing this? It's really important, and our kids really notice. You know, with me being a sports mom, our kids walk into the different schools, and they look, and they say, oh my goodness, why don't we have that? Our school looks like a prison. They think that way. I mean, you go into even Elyria, and the kids really notice, and it really is important. So thank you guys for noticing and putting this together.
Well, yeah. Well, thanks to Ashley, Dr. Graham. He's the one that it's his vision.
Thank you. I don't know if you got your text, Miss AJ. Did you get your text? Can Miss AJ or Dr. Sturge give the helpline number? I don't have it where I could pull it up real quick. Here it is. I got it. Can I give it real quick?
Please, of course.
For the helpline number that Miss AJ was speaking about is 440-830-4357. So if you need to get in touch with any of the services Miss AJ spoke about, again, it's 440-830-4357.
Thank you. And just to clarify Stephen's point, this is my vision, but it was created by the support of hundreds of people, and hopefully it's all of our vision. So it's a collective vision, established, designed, and will be executed in exactly that manner. And I just want to make one more comment before I make my recommendations. I know Marge Walker came up and asked a question about our curriculum. Please know that I think we've got 90% of our scope and sequence work completed, and it's all online. So if you have a question about what's being taught in most of our classes, again, we're still working to fine-tune a couple, please go online and look. And if there are questions that you have, and this is not just to Marge, but anybody out there, please give us a call. We'd love to sit down and talk and learn more. Okay, I'd like the board to consider for approval items 9.01 to 9.08, personnel matters.
So moved.
Motion. Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Ballard.
Yes.
Mr. Ferguson.
Yes.
Mr. Sturgill.
Yes.
Ms. Nazario.
Yes.
Ms. Washington.
Your yes.
Use a 08.
To
Yes.
08. I would like the board to consider for approval item 9.09, personnel matters.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Ferguson.
Yes.
Ms. Nazario.
Yes.
Mr. Sturgill.
Abstain.
Mr. Ballard.
Yes.
Ms. Washington.
Abstain.
And again, the reasons for the two board members abstaining is they have family members who are on the agenda. I'd like the board to consider for approval items 10.01 to 10.15, operation matters.
So moved. Support.
Roll call.
Ms. Washington.
Yes.
Mr. Ballard.
Yes.
Mr. Sturgill.
Yes.
Ms. Nazario.
Yes.
Mr. Ferguson.
Yes.
And that's all I have this evening, Mr. President.
Okay. No other matters, right?
That's correct.
New business?
Just a question. How is the implementation of the new fine arts going after a week and a day?
3 days?
I mean, are we fully staffed and?
We might be short one, I think.
We still have a choir opening at General
Yeah, that's
Dodge.
right, thank you.
Yep.
Maybe Barbie and I can do that.
We're gonna sing. I saw dancing happening
Yeah.
on Facebook. We need a band director too at Johnny Wilson, or
No.
no? We have one.
She starts, actually, it should be in here. I think you just approved her.
Okay, then I missed it.
Yeah, I think September 15th or 19th or some.
There were some people who are under
September.
contract in other districts, and what sometimes happens is they're allowed to start once they find a replacement. So we gave a certain amount of time for them to find, they had a replacement, but to fill that position, then she starts here.
Okay, I missed that one.
No, we're doing great. I actually just had another phone call with our contact at the Ohio Arts Council a couple days ago, just as a touch base, and the Ohio Arts Council has been fabulous in helping us with just kind of helping us to kind of solidify the vision that we had, and then also helping us to staff it, and then resource-wise, and they've just been excellent. And so I think most unique one certainly is dance. And he said we're the only school district in the state that has a actual district-wide dance department, which is really cool. But then from an elementary standpoint, looking at music specifically, we now have legitimate, nice instruments for our students to use. And again, our goal is to have students reading music by the end of 5th grade. So it's super ambitious, but also really exciting. They've got their own spaces now, and they've got top-of-the-line equipment to use that our students deserve and should have access to. So that's really exciting from an art standpoint, visual art standpoint. Again, our art teachers now have all their own spaces to use, and they've got, can use any medium now instead of just being limited to really drawing, and in a few cases painting. Now they have access to all kinds of medium. We've got thousands of pounds of clay that have come in now, which is pretty cool. And then, at the middle school level, we will have choir in all three. We have in 2 right now, but we will have choir, which again is a new addition for us. We've got brand new instruments for our students to use in band, which again is very exciting. We've got all students can take visual art now, 6th through 8th grade, which is fantastic. The visual expansion at the high school is really cool because we went from having just introductory classes now to having 3 levels of classes you can take in ceramics, in design, in painting and drawing, and we've started digital art. So we've got some really compelling offerings for our students to take. It's pretty exciting. Yeah, it's really, really
And I
exciting.
just want to give a quick shout out to Ross because he's responsible for a lot of this. We surveyed our community and our students, and we knew that we needed to engage our students in the arts because, as we've said many times before, we know that if our students have access to a robust arts program by the time they're 9 years old, the likelihood of them graduating increases exponentially. So we knew we had to do it. But there are a lot of ways to do it. And we asked our families, we asked our students, what do you want? And dance was way up here.
Yeah.
And Ross spent his entire time combing the country. We got one student who graduated from college in Arizona. He came over, he flew in, fell in love with Lorain. He just had a couple of suitcases full of stuff, and he's still with us teaching at the high school. But we went from having almost nothing. We went from having very, very little to, I think, having more than most of our neighboring districts, if not more than all of them. So again, I just want to thank Ross for his leadership in that area and taking something that could have been good and making it great. Yeah.
Yeah, we're
My
getting
third
there.
grader came out of school today so excited because she had danced for the first time and was like, first thing she got in the car was like,
Yep.
she had dance and she loves the teacher and
Yep.
she was besides herself. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I've been in all the dance teachers' classrooms here in the first now 4 days of school, and the experience our kids are having there is just going to be absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. Yeah.
That's
Yep.
awesome.
Yeah. And we've partnered with the National Dance Education Organization, so they're helping to hold our hands, make sure that we've got a very intentionally designed, robust, dance, program, because there frankly isn't a whole lot of just area guidance that we can go off of there. So it's.
And I appreciate that. I was talking to dance teachers during some of the new teacher days, and their comments were they really appreciate what we're doing because we know what we're doing. And No, we don't.
No.
We have no idea where to, no, but we surround ourselves with experts, and we take their advice, and we grow together. So we have 9 dance teachers with various experiences and expertise. We're connected to the right people nationally, and again, we are not so arrogant as to think we know what we're doing, but we are still going to do it because our kids deserve it, and we'll make sure we do it the right way. So again, thank you for your leadership.
I think we should all sign up for the class. If you can dance, Ross, I bet you I could pass too.
Sound like you just called you to a dance-off.
That would be fun.
Well, I was
Dance
in,
off. Yeah, the kids would love that.
sixth grade dance at Southview this afternoon.
Pep rally.
Halftime at the first kickoff.
There you
Oh,
go.
there you go.
During homecoming week.
I also want to add, we added health to middle school, and that's something I've been championing, so I'm really excited to see that. I do want to ask you on record, we talked off record, I asked you, can you please explain the wellness coach salary scale? There's some questions.
Yeah, there's a big discrepancy between one of our wellness coaches and the rest. And for us, and again, by board policy and by structure of our pay systems, pay is based on whatever job classification you're in, your years of experience, and your level of education. And we have one wellness coach, Grissom, who is, I think, has 24 years of parole officer experience. We gave him all that credit. I think everyone else is in the 8-year-ish range. So there is a huge discrepancy, but we have been consistent. And some of the other salary adjustments on the board agenda tonight were for the same reasons, because historically speaking, we've not always followed, in my mind, board policy. If the board says it's this many years in this education level, here's your salary, for me, it's a math equation. And depending on financial situations at the time or maybe leadership decisions, that's not always been the case. So we righted some, in my mind, we righted some wrongs because we were able to, and that's how our wellness coach salary structure is set.
Thank you.
We're going to get right to a second hearing of the public, and that'll be the time. Are we there yet, Bill, at the second hearing of the public?
We're close.
Okay. We'll be there very shortly.
Okay, committee reports and requests from board members. Second hearing of the public.
Come on up.
It's your turn. There
You're
you
up.
go.
I just want Dr. Graham to re-emphasize, so I can have it written down for me, on what did you state as far as the wellness coach?
It's based on years of experience, education level, and the salary schedule that they're on.
So also, education is very important.
It's correct.
Okay.
And I couldn't tell you exactly what it is. Stephen, do you know what it is for wellness coaches? I think typically we give a bonus for an associate's or a bachelor's if it's in line with the work being done. But don't quote me on that. But if you get me your name and number, I'll give you a call and give you the specifics.
Okay, you said bachelor's and what else?
I think an associate's as well. Is that correct? Yes. For all degrees? Okay.
Yes. Associate, okay.
But again, if you give me your number, email, I'll get you the exact language for that position.
Okay, thank you very much.
Certainly.
Yes.
I'm going to say
Can you-
something.
Get
just
your
for
mic.
Bill's
Can you get your mic?
spirit,
It's your first
though.
time
I'm
at the
going to say
podium?
something just for Bill, so he always looks
Thank
at
you.
me, you know. Hey, anyways, I'm so excited about everything. It makes me kind of like wish I was going back to school, but not really. Too old for that. But what AJ and Stephen are doing with the wraparound services, that's always been something close to me. And I remember when you first came here, Dr. Graham, that's what you started to work on. We were at that little room on Broadway, and you had us put those big sheets of paper and write down all these wraparound services, and it's finally coming to light, and that makes me happy, because I always feel bad for a lot of the people that come through the food pantry now, because when we used to have it inside, we could have wraparound services there where they could go to the individual groups and get help, but, you know, with the drive-through, you can't do that. But I'm real happy about that. And, like, I've gone many, many, many years to the school board meetings, and really, lately, I've enjoyed them because I'm learning, like you had the arts here, showing us what they were doing. We had different people showing us different areas of really what's going on. And I like the visual you know, so.
Thank you.
Really, and like, this is the way I always feel about anything. It starts at the top, and you're only as good as your leader. So just remember that. I know it's a team effort. It always takes a team, but the leader always surrounds themselves with good people. And really, when I look at the leadership here that's below you, you have surrounded yourself with very good people.
And I appreciate you recognizing that, Bambi. Thank you.
I really like that, you know, because, like, to me, it's still a secret of what we do here. It's like somehow we have to get it more out in the public so people realize what we offer and they don't go out of our school district, because I think they're ridiculous to go out, because I can guarantee you there's nobody in the area that has as much to offer as Lorain City Schools. You know, and we have good people here. They need to go out, our public needs to go out into our schools like you're inviting them, not just the parents, the community, and see what kind of people are in our school buildings helping our kids. Because I used to see it, but I saw it more when my husband and I were doing the food pantry, and see how the kids just hang on to the teachers love the teachers love them. That to me makes a big difference. And oh, I'm so glad you guys are remodeling the inside. I always said from day one our schools look like prisons, the outside. So maybe one day you guys could like maybe put some color outside too, because it's like ridiculous.
Give Steve a
like,
paint roller.
when you say you go to other districts, like I follow my niece through volleyball, basketball, and softball. And when I go to all these other school districts, it's like, just like you said, wow, like in the inside, you know, like this one school system, they had Chick-fil-A, you know, and all these other little outside sources feeding the kids where they could go. And I thought, gee, that's really cool. You know, and like you said, they have those little areas where they could sit, and it's just a homey feelings, and I'm really glad. But do you think like maybe we could put like a pamphlet together somehow and get this out to the community, like how you showed about the arts and that, now about the remodeling, like
Yep.
it is really time, because it's 20 years now, I think, isn't it? Because we aren't going to have that pay for it, because isn't that money done now for the redoing of all the schools?
Should be, yes.
Yeah,
Did
so
we ever-
you know,
did we
like
ever
your house, you
consolidate
have
all
to
those?
remodel. You know, you have to update.
It's time. It's time.
to
It is time.
update, you know. So really, it really does make me very proud to be a citizen of Lorain and the school system that we have. I think all of you are doing a good job. All of you. And all of you. You're doing your job, really. Because we never had these kind of presentations before at any of the school board meetings that I can remember. Then one other thing, that bit out there with the sports area, you're talking about the Campana area when you were saying about?
Yes.
Okay, so just so I have it in my head and I understand it, we have input, or the city's just letting you know what it's
We will have
gonna
exclusive
cost?
rights to the baseball and softball fields, and we will do them up the way we want them.
Okay, so that's what I was
Yep.
hoping you were gonna say. I sure hope whoever.
We have partnerships in some of the other areas and expectations and understandings of the work that's going to be done in addition, so the whole area will be nice. But the spots that we're in charge of are the baseball field and the softball field.
Well, I just hope that it's done right, because I've gone to so many states and sports, areas with following my niece, that I hope that we do it right. Sometimes it might cost a little bit more, but then in the long run, it saves you money. And there's so many that were so nice. I just hope that we end up with that type of facility.
Mary Mays is in charge of gathering the information and getting the work done. I trust her completely. And then the
Yeah,
five
oh,
folks
I
at this
do
table that
too.
vote on things will make sure that we pick the right stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and because there's, like, they all have events during the whole year that they're making money off of it. So you answered my question. Keep up the good work. You too, buddy.
You've been reduced to buddy today.
That's right.
Barbara.
And Bambi, I'd like to thank you for always the kind words and support, but I appreciate you recognizing the fact that we've got great people in our district, and you know them all, so you know firsthand who they are. And folks in our buildings, I remember meeting with our legislators when they were asking about getting us out of House Bill 70, and they said, how are your building level administrators? And without missing a beat, we're loaded. We just have great people, great intentions, and just work their butts off for our kids, so thank you for knowing that.
But you just have to remember that there's people like myself that we don't have kids in the system, but we're still interested.
Absolutely.
You
Excellent.
know, I'll always be behind.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We really did miss you.
Oh, thank you.
Announcement, the next board meeting will be September 12th, here at 5 o'clock. And could I have a motion for adjournment?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Roll call.
Mr. Ballard.
Yes.
Ms. Nazario.
Yes.
Mr. Sturgill.
Yes.
Ms. Washington.
Yes.
Mr. Ferguson.
Yes.
That's a good one. I didn't miss nothing this time.